Hello again, BookTube. It's Mike from Refresh Reading Renaissance, and today is week 1 of GarbAugust. I'd like to start with two thank yous. One in particular to Criminali for creating the whole GarbAugust concept, and obviously we all send our best wishes. It's so good to see him back looking fighting fit on YouTube. And then all of you who've championed GarbAugust. I'm not going to name you because you're many and varied with lots of dodgy pseudonyms I see, but you've definitely enhanced my journey by guiding me onto this unplanned detour to the nether regions of literature, and it's been great fun. The first book I'd like to talk about is in fact a story that came out of this compendium. This is the new Mammoth book of pulp fiction. I'm sure it's not very new anymore. I suspect it's quite dated. And the point of my picking this tome in which to select a story is that the story I've chosen is called The Diamond Wager. And it is written officially by a man called Samuel Dashiell, who turns out to be Dashiell Hammett. So I sense a pseudonym coming on. Let me read from the introduction to the book. In addition, we take great pride in presenting what we believe is a lost story by Dashiell Hammett. The Diamond Wager was recently unearthed by hardy internet detectives and doesn't appear in any of Hammett's bibliographies, but we are convinced it was written by the great man of pulp himself under the somewhat transparent pseudonym of Samuel Dashiell. His birth certificate was actually bylined Samuel Dashiell Hammett. Further, it has been established that between 1926 and 1927, he did work for Samuel's Jewelers in San Francisco. Long live pulp. So that's why I chose the story, and it is indeed, I believe, a typical Dashiell Hammett type story. A retired diplomat, Alexander West, tells our narrator in Paris over a bottle of 1848 cognac of his attempt to pull off a diamond heist to win a bet against his friend, the jeweler Mr. Berthier. No spoilers, it's a great read, fast and fun, just like you'd expect from Hammett. Now, for the bingo card. I believe I can claim 2 bingo points here, one for a pseudonym and one for vintage trash, as it was written in 1927. The second book on my week's reading list this week comes with the appropriate title of White Trash. You're really no arguing with that now, is there? The subtitle is My Year as a High-Class Call Girl. This is a local South African story written by Terry Angelos. And if I read from the back, it's a remarkable memoir told in vivid detail, laced with dark humor and savage honesty. Hungry for adventure, 19-year-old Terry drops out a fine art degree in South Africa, escapes to London, where she soon descends into the city's seedy underbelly to begin working as a high-class call girl. This is a story of someone who started her life in then Rhodesia, soon to be Zimbabwe, experienced racist apartheid South Africa, ran off to London for the highlights, and a race to the bottom in all its seedy, exploitative detail. Ultimately, it's a story of redemption. No spoilers, but it's about self-forgiveness, recovery, and closure. The writing is surprisingly good. It holds the reader's attention. And I'd like to read just a little bit of the introduction to give you a feel of the powerful writing in this book. There is a wilderness embedded in my heart and etched on my soul. It is deeply imprinted on my childhood like ragged erosion scars the landscape. It is the taste of ripe mango juice running down my chin. It is the scent of dust and rain. It is the dull shine of a rifle in a bedroom corner. It is mud pies and mulberry-stained feet. It is a story of ears and lips cut off. It is a newspaper headline of missionaries murdered and terrorists slaughtering farmers. It is a song of patriotism howled with futility into the wind. It is the bogeyman's face at the window. It is exhilaration and despair. It is lost innocence and the burying of a dream in a shallow grave. It is a place that is no longer written on any map, Rhodesia. It is the place that raised me strong-willed, fearless, curious, racist, and entitled. That's a pretty powerful start to a book. It's worth a read, and it's certainly for me, in terms of that all-important bingo card, I think it's worth 4 points. It's a celeb memoir. It's local trash. Clearly, with her descent into the seedy life, the author is smoking or drinking, and in fact smoking some very strange substances in some cases. And, of course, being a redemptive story after his descent and a race to the bottom, it's a paperback from hell. That's my second book for the week. My last book for the week is called Erotic Vagrancy. And I don't have to tell you who the two figures on the front cover is. It's the immortal Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. In fact, it's called Everything About Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. This book is 638 pages long, so it is true in its claim that it is everything about Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. Having claimed endlessly, going on and on about being a slow reader on BookTube, I can't possibly expect you to believe that I read all of this book in the week of August that has gone. It's not true, but I did finish it in August, and I suspect that counts. Let's hope so. The author, Roger Lewis, is known for his dense biographies. He's done biographies of Rudyard Kipling, Peter Sellers, Laurence Olivier, Charles Hawtrey, Anthony Burgess, and all of them, I think, are either loved or hated. This is a style of writing that you either enjoy or you don't. I have to say, two people who have a strong influence in my taste have enjoyed it. One of those is Stephen Fry, who says on the front cover, one of the very best biographies I have ever read. Magnificent, terrible, tragic, triumphant. And the other person I like to follow is the Guardian journalist Marina Hyde, who's probably best known to some people from the new podcast she does with Richard Osman called The Rest is Entertainment. And Marina Hyde says of this book, an absolute masterpiece, one of the great reading experiences of my life. So it's definitely got some fans. I should explain where the title of the book comes from, Erotic Vagrancy. It was in fact Pope John the 23rd who was made aware of the fact that Burton, who was married, was carrying on a shameless affair with Elizabeth Taylor on the set of Cleopatra. And the Pope referred to their relationship as Erotic Vagrancy. Hence Roger Lewis claiming it as the title of the book. I have to declare, one of the reasons why I chose this was the title, but a more important reason is that I'm a hopeless fanboy for Richard Burton. I believe Richard Burton has one of the greatest, if not the greatest voice of my lifetime. To quote the book specifically, Burton's voice was certainly one of the 20th century's great noises. Roaring, swelling, delicate and bombastic by turns, the articulations and diction very precise, the inflections, nuances, elaborations and grace of his voice, the fire and flint of things spoken. Everything one would want to know about Burton is present in the voice, which was rich and artificial, carrying a sense of fracture, of mournfulness. If that writing takes your fancy, then perhaps this large book is for you. Another of Burton's co-stars, the magnificent Sophia Loren, said, he was like a grand Shakespearean king, broken upon the wheel of preordained tragedy. It's all very dramatic, very Shakespearean, and very entertaining. Or if you're just a fan of Elizabeth Taylor or Richard Burton, I do think once you've read this book, there's no point in reading any other biographies. It is endlessly and encyclopedically complete. And to justify my fandom of Richard Burton's voice, if you don't know Burton's voice, I'm going to leave a link below, and I urge you to listen to just the opening few minutes of a video covering Jeff Wayne's 1970s musical interpretation of H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds. Just listen to Burton's voice as he introduces that, and tell me if you don't get chills.
No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century.
So that's the book. And in terms of the all-important bingo card, I reckon it's 2 points. One for non-fiction trash and one for celebrity memoir. So that was week 1 of GarbAugust. A lot of fun. I hope you're having as much fun as I am, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.